Prime Field.
All right, Husky fans and Big East sickos. This one is about to get ugly in the paint, because the biggest question for UConn versus Marquette on December 17th isn't can UConn score? It's how fast does Marquette's rotation break once they start packing the lane? UConn just put up 60 points in the paint versus DePaul and 44 in the paint versus USC in back-to-back games. And here's the scary part. The hidden danger isn't the layups. It's the foul trouble spiral that opens at Azzi Fudd and Ashland Shade. So tonight we're talking one thing, the Sarah Strong paint machine, and what it forces Marquette to sacrifice. Let's set the table. UConn's identity right now is crystal clear, paint dominance, driven by the Sarah Strong two-man game and secondary rim pressure off the bench. And Marquette's dilemma is brutal. Do you sell out to stop Strong's high post touches and seals? Or do you protect the rim against the second wave of attackers? Because if you choose wrong even once, you don't just give up 2 points. You give up a chain reaction, help rotation, scramble, foul, then boom, kick out threes. And remember, Marquette gave up 30 paint points versus Butler. UConn is operating at a different scale right now. So the real battle is this. Can Marquette keep UConn's paint points in that 35-38 range? Or is this headed toward another 40-plus paint night that blows the game open? Let's talk numbers, because the trend is screaming at you. UConn goes 60 paint points versus DePaul, then 44 versus USC. That's an average of 52 paint points across 2 games. And here's what should scare Marquette. UConn didn't need some fluky three-point night to do damage. Against DePaul, they hit only 3 threes, and still won by 1,000,000 because the paint was a freeway. So when people say just wall up, I've got one question. With what bodies? For how long? Because this isn't just post-ups. This is designed paint touches that force help defenders into impossible decisions. And when you're living in constant rotation, your legs go, your timing goes, and your whistle gets louder. Now let's zoom in on the engine. Sarah Strong. Against DePaul, 20 points in 17 minutes on 7 for 9. That's not getting hot. That's surgical. Add in 4 assists and 5 steals, and you're looking at someone controlling the game in every direction. Against USC, 14 points in about 24 minutes, plus 7 boards, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 3 assists, and she still dictated the paint even with foul trouble. And the detail that matters most for this matchup, Strong is fast with her reads. She catches at the high post, and before the help can even decide, she's already in one of 3 actions. 1, quick attack. 2, dump off to the roller. 3, kick out to the shooter. So if Marquette's plan is, we'll help late, okay. Late help is just help that becomes a highlight for UConn. Now here's where it gets even nastier. UConn doesn't just score inside. UConn steals possessions. Sarah Williams is the possession engine. Against USC, 9 rebounds in about 25 minutes. That's, I'm taking your stops away energy. And if you're Marquette, think about the math. Even if you force a miss on Strong, who's cleaning it up? Williams. And second chances against a team that already owns the paint? That's how games turn into avalanches. Then the extra punch. Blanca Quinones. Against USC, 12 points off the bench in about 16 minutes. That's not just good bench minutes. That's continuous rim pressure while you're already tired. So if Halley Vice gets in foul trouble, or if Marquette tries to survive with smaller lineups, Quinones becomes the wait, who's guarding her problem. And now ask yourself, how do you keep the paint protected for 40 minutes when the waves never stop? Alright, let's flip it. Marquette's interior anchor is Halley Vice. And she's not just defense, she's offense too. Versus Butler, 13 points, 9 rebounds. Earlier this season versus Milwaukee, 23 points on 9 for 11. That's elite efficiency. But here's the hidden pressure. If Vice is spending 30-plus minutes defending Strong's high post touches, fighting seals, avoiding cheap fouls, what happens to her offense? Because if Vice becomes strictly a defender trying not to foul, Marquette loses a chunk of what makes them dangerous. So the game inside the game is Vice's foul count. And we're not waiting until the fourth quarter to check. This is first half urgency. If Vice has 3 fouls by halftime, Marquette's interior is compromised. Full stop. Now here's where Marquette can really lose the game in 2 minutes. Overhelp. Marquette's wing pressure, especially from someone like Jadian Mason, can be disruptive, but it can also become reckless. Marquette had 22 team fouls versus Butler, even in a comfortable win. That tells you they live on aggression. But if Mason or anyone overhelps on Strong, UConn's next read is immediate. Swing, kick, and punish. And that's where Asa Fudd and Ashland Shade walk in like it's an open gym. Fudd just put up 17 versus USC and has been an efficiency nightmare when defenses collapse. Shade hit 15 versus USC. And that's what happens when the defense sells out to stop the interior. So, if Marquette says, "We're packing the paint," my response is, "Cool. Are you ready to give up clean looks to 2 shooters who only need 1 rhythm touch to bury you?" That's the trap. The paint is the bait. The threes are the knockout. Let's talk closing time. Late game, the lineup implication is simple. When Strong plus Williams are together, UConn's interior gravity becomes a problem you can't scheme away, because even if you defend the first action, Strong's touch and decision-making plus Williams' rebounding presence means you're defending multiple possessions inside the same possession. So if this game's within 10 with 5 minutes left, here's the tell. Is Strong still catching at the high post without immediate doubles? If yes, UConn has cracked the code and will close. If Marquette can limit those touches, under 3 in the final stretch, then they've got a real shot to make this uncomfortable. Let's make it practical. 3 things to track live. 1. Vice's foul count by halftime. 2. Williams' offensive boards in the first 20 minutes. If she's at 5+, Marquette is getting bulldozed. 3. Strong's high post seal conversions. If she gets 5 clean seals and finishes around 80%, you're staring at a 50+ paint point pace. Now the prediction. If Marquette gives up 40+ paint points, this turns into a 12-16 point UConn win. If Marquette somehow holds UConn to 35 or 38 paint points, then we've got a real game. And Marquette's 3-point shooting becomes the swing variable. But based on the last 2 games, the identity is too loud. UConn by 12-16, with Strong living in that 16-20 point range on high efficiency, and the perimeter getting just enough clean looks to finish the job. So here's the biggest takeaway. Marquette can't just defend the paint. They have to defend the paint without collapsing into fouls, and without giving Strong the reads that unlock Fudd and Shade. Now I want your call in the comments. What breaks first? Halley Vice's foul situation or Marquette's help rotations giving up kick-out threes?
Prime Field